What's up, everyone? We are here for another episode of Open Book. And for those out there that are not familiar with Open Book, it is something I absolutely adore. I am Billy Price, co-founder of Billy Footwear, and we started Open Book to be able to get better connected with all those folks out there that we collaborate with. And this week we have a fantastic guest, as always. So we have Melanie Stovall. She is the executive director at Legacy Bridges Foundation, and we're going to have a great conversation. So, Melanie, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm so excited for this conversation. You are, as I say, the executive director of Legacy Bridges Foundation, and I would love for you to start us off with telling us what Legacy Bridges Foundation is and how it got going.
I would love to. So the whole purpose in our mission, Legacy Bridges Foundation, is to really connect individuals, families, caregivers of those living with epilepsy and seizure disorders to resources and programs and services that will just help them to live a sustainable life. And how we got started, Legacy Bridges Foundation started with my daughter's own personal journey with seizure disorder. Started at the tender age of 7 years old, no rhyme or reason, just started having a seizure out of the blue. And years later, she's being diagnosed, having to go on different medications, almost literally every medication under the sun. No real rhyme or reason on why the seizures occurred, no family history, etc. But this journey came very traumatic for us. Medication didn't help her. She was in and out of the hospital. We did a brain surgery that was unsuccessful, and just how that kind of changed our entire life. So my daughter, being that youthful, spirited little girl, now having a life-altering diagnosis that takes her out of the social environment, puts her in isolation and homeschooling. So she missed out on all of those valuable years that children get raising up, hanging out with their kids outside and playing games, playing on the playground, things like that. So she had the brain surgery, and then there's just this decline in her mobility to where she's no longer now able to walk. And so going through physical therapy and all of those things, it just became a lot for us. And so I started to write a book. And so I wrote a book about our journey, and for some reason, I journaled everything as we were going through our journey. All the doctor's appointments, all that stuff was all in my notebook, if you will. And so one day I just started typing and writing and typing and writing, and 61 pages into the book, the journey got too hard for us. And so I stopped writing, and it was just too hard living that day to day. And then talking about it in a book, it just came very difficult for me. So fast forward, it's 10 years later, I get this voice saying, finish the book, finish the book. I finished the book. I had all this weight lifted off my shoulders. And so just to share really quick, the book is called The Life Heist, Journey of a Childhood Robbed by the Unknown. I used the pseudonym L. Bridges, telling that story of what our lives look like living with epilepsy. So now I got this book, and I'm like, now what do I do with it? I feel empowered. I've got this voice. What are we going to do? Going through that journey, I felt like we were alone, which a lot of people typically do, right? You're going through this traumatic medical experience. Your family and even the individual living with it feels like nobody else understands their journey. And that was us. We felt like no one understood. So finally, I finished the book, and I realized that there's millions of people out there who understand what that journey is. It's not just us. We're not alone. And so now I feel empowered. I want to connect with these people. Like, let's build some type of foundation or organization that will connect with these families and also help them to live a better life, because we didn't have that going through the journey. We found out by trial and error that there's resources, and there's free resources that are out there that'll really help the individual and the family live some type of productive lifestyle going through this journey. So we started the Legacy Bridges Foundation, and oh my gosh, we've been doing so much work and just making those connections with those families. It's so rewarding. And then them knowing that they're not alone, and then connecting with other organizations such as Billy Footwear to offer our families awesome resources that are available to them at either a discounted price or for free. And oh my gosh, like the impact that we've been making, and we're just getting started, and we're so excited for this work. But that's our passion. It's because we live the experience.
Wow. Melanie, that was amazing. Oh my gosh. So first off, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for being comfortable to share. And there's so many things about your story that you're talking about that I just want to dig into, but also I didn't know about the book. That's incredible. I mean, wow. Okay. So first off, so for people to find out more about Legacy Bridges Foundation, let's throw some information up here. So On screen right now, we have their website. So it's legacybridgesfoundation.org. Let's see, on social, we have at Legacy Bridges Foundation, and
Yes, sir.
that's on both Instagram and Facebook. And you can be connected too, right?
Yes, if anyone wants to just touch base with me one-on-one, we also, my social media there is Smile Bright One, so you can reach me via Instagram.
Wow, awesome. So of these, so there's 3 great channels. I mean, which one would you point someone to first? Or
Definitely.
you want the website?
Sure. The website, definitely legacybridgesfoundation.org. We'll link them to literally everything else. So that one-stop shop, you can get connected to us even via email through our website.
And then to find out more about the book, what's the best channel there?
Either or, actually. Legacy Bridges Foundation. Yeah, absolutely. Because we also have a link there with the image of the book for people to hyperlink straight to purchase it on Amazon.
Okay. Wow. Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay. So, there are so many elements that you were talking about that I could relate to on a personal basis. I mean, I have a disability. I broke my neck when I was a teenager, and so it's a spinal cord injury. And I remember being in the hospital, and it was a very life-changing moment in time. And it wasn't just me. It affected everyone around me, everyone within my network. And it was very difficult for my parents. And I think it still is difficult for my parents. And I just didn't have the tools, like me personally, to really process this new reality, but nor did my family. And it was very difficult to be able to find resources out there to be able to, like, not only kind of understand like what the journey could look like, but also to be able to find a shoulder to cry on and to find a shoulder to share on. And what you're describing, being able to have those resources for people to, I don't know, to be able to find like other people to like understand that you're not on this journey alone. I mean, it just really resonated with me, and I'm sure you like feel that every single day when people reach out.
I do. And it's so interesting. No matter how many stories I hear, I'm always so excited to connect with another family. And the emotion, the crying and all of that, because they're like, oh my gosh, this diagnosis, my baby, like it's hurting them, and I always give this example of, we go to the doctors, right? They're the medical educated professionals. They give you this diagnosis and they're like, okay, take this medicine. We'll see you in 6 months. And then you get home and you're like, now what? Like, you have all these question marks and you're like, what do I do? How do I? And now it's affecting work schedules, school schedules, and all these other elements. And it's a lot, and it's very overwhelming for people. And we don't have enough resources where folks can come forward and say, hey, this is my story. Or even if it's not in a public setting, what we like to do with the foundation is, let's go have fun in the midst of the storm. You can still live some type of life. And whether that's us just going to the movies, a basketball game, going to the park, it's just some small moments of time where you can forget about your disability and just live life. And that's what we hope to share, that light to folks, to say, hey, come out of the shadows. You don't have to live in darkness. You're not the only one. No more isolation. Let's just come out and have fun and live life, especially with life being so short.
Yeah. Oh man, amen. Well, it's I mean, I have a spinal cord injury, so I'm familiar with spinal cord injury, but when it comes to epilepsy, that's a space that I'm not really familiar with. I don't think I've ever met someone that's had epilepsy. Can you describe kind of epilepsy, so for someone like myself can have a better understanding of what it all encompasses?
Yes, definitely. And I totally appreciate that question, because one of the things that we do at the foundation is we educate the community on what seizure first aid protocols look like. Because at the end of the day, a seizure can affect 1 in 10 people in their lifetime. Like, that's pretty huge. And then 1 in 26 will have epilepsy. That's also pretty huge. And so the idea being, you can be out at the grocery store running errands and somebody just falls, or even in a meeting, classroom, at work, somebody can just fall from their chair, hit the floor and start seizing. What are we going to do? Initially we're the first responders, ideally, until the actual first responders arrive. So it's creating that space so that way we can help that individual immediately. And so the difference really quick between a seizure and epilepsy is a seizure being that one occurrence, or one here, one there. That's it. There's maybe it was stress that kind of brought that on or triggered it, or maybe it was something else that might have triggered it. But epilepsy being the diagnoses of having that multiple reoccurrences of seizures. And so we always give that advice of roll the individual on their side if you see that seizure. Make sure that their head is being protected or cushioned with some type of pillow, a jacket, whatever is kind of nearby. But you want to make sure that the space is safe. Like sitting down at the table, if somebody's eating dinner, maybe they have a fork and they feel you want to move that fork out of their hand. You want to get them away from the table, because different types of seizures will call the bodies to react in different ways. And there's over 40 different types of seizures, which is also a staggering number, right? It's crazy. And so this is the thing too, like there's not a lot of people learning more. Here, let me just explain it this way. When we're out at outreach events, people walk up to our table, oh, epilepsy seizures, I don't know anybody who has it, and they keep walking by. Mm-hmm. When the reality, again, 1 in 10 can have a seizure, and it's just information that you have kind of in your back pocket in case you experience that encounter. You'll know, oh yeah, turn the individual on their side, cushion their head, time it. If I can just really quick check what time and see how long it lasts, so that way you can relay that information to EMT. And then just making sure that you can monitor that person in that space and nobody else is kind of being the looky-loo. So there's like a lot of little tasks you have to do. But if there's other people around, everybody can kind of assist. But it's just most importantly, making sure that that person is safe in that space and not putting anything in their mouth, which is the old myth that you put some type of object in the mouth. That's a big no-no. We don't do that anymore. We'll say that we don't do that anymore. Right. Yes. But then just definitely making sure that they are back to their baseline once the seizure ends. Sometimes people lose control of their bowels and they may have accidents, or there's saliva that may come from their mouths. Sometimes a seizure may cause them to like reach at stuff or say things that they normally wouldn't say. So there's a lot of different side effects. And we want to make sure that the space and the environment is okay for them once they come out too, because they're going to feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, so what I'm hearing is just like, make sure the areas like basically just kind of clear the space. And then, I mean, hands on good, but not like forcing hold on, but just kind of like, protecting, I guess it's just a matter of like protecting the individual.
They say not to restrain the individual. Okay. That could cause some harm as well. In certain situations, like with family, you kind of learn how to help them best. And like with my daughter, I do restrain her because she gets pretty violent. So I kind of have to restrain her. But again, that doesn't work for every situation. But yeah, definitely the rule of thumb is don't restrain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. What is the reach? What is the reach of Legacy Bridges Foundation?
So right now we're based in Inland Empire. We're in California. So that's like Riverside, San Bernardino counties, close to LA counties. But we've connected with people in other states. And so we don't want to turn anyone away. And we'll just try to work with them as best as we can. And if nothing else, it's having that personal relationship with someone who understands the journey. And for my daughter and I's own experience, we didn't really have that going through the ranks. We did find a local organization, but it just didn't feel like a home or feel safe enough for us to kind of share a story, which is okay that, environments are different or feed different people differently. But so we just wanted to make sure that we could at least have that one-on-one connection, even if the individual can't get to a certain event or anything else. They know that they can pick up the phone or text me if they need to chat.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm just having these flashbacks of so many people calling my parents. I remember, and then my parents calling so many others, just to be able to, like, one, check in, but one, to be able to just ask the hard questions, and also not only ask the questions, but just share about like what happened like during the day. And then the person on the receiving end of the line, they're not necessarily giving an answer. It's more like, yep, yeah, I feel what you're going through, and that type of stuff. And on the website right here, I see there's a donate page. So everyone out there, there's, people can come to the website and be able to donate and, help support this fantastic organization. Melanie, I had to ask, so I know there's education, there's raising awareness. What would you say the big goal is? Is there a certain destination you're trying to arrive at?
Yeah, so our focus right now, in addition to providing that education, like you said, is social recreation and outreach. And so having opportunities like this to share our story and really connect with people on a different level really helps to drive in the messaging and just save lives. Ideally, when we are uneducated in certain situations, the ending could lead down a path, that we don't want to go down. So just kind of having that information, but social recreation is a huge focus for us. We want folks to understand that it's okay to still live life in the midst of a storm, battling with a diagnosis or what have you. And not just for the individual, but for family members too. Because as we talked about, that caring for a loved one, it takes a lot on the person who's the caregiver. And so we want to make sure that they also feel included in this time, in this space of having fun and just kind of living life and taking a few moments out of the day if they can, or just once a week, whatever that looks like, to just be mindful of their own self-care and being able to refresh and restore and renew us, as human beings. We need that. There has to be a bigger focus on self-care. And that's what we want to drive in with the donating. And we want to be able to put more programs and opportunities together for folks to get out of the house and just have fun and explore life.
Oh boy, well said. Well, Melanie, I want to be respectful of your time. This has been absolutely fantastic. Before we say goodbye to our guests, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Definitely visit our website, legacybridgesfoundation.org, to learn more information, to connect with us. Even if you are not living with seizures or don't know anyone, just having the information in your back pocket is crucial. But connect with us, join our team, some type of way you can contribute financially, that'd be fantastic. Even volunteering of your time is also very helpful. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Billy. It's been so awesome. You're amazing. Thank you for the work that you and your organization are doing to give back to the community. Much appreciated.
Oh, well, it's our sincere pleasure. And again, thank you so much for your time. I mean, so much of our success, and I'm hearing this very much in your story too, but so much of our success is hinged on building relationships.
Mhm.
And without those relationships, without that community, we can't really do anything. And it's such an honor to be able to partner with just amazing people to do things together. Because when we work together, there really isn't anything that we can't do.
Right.
So,
Agreed.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, Melanie, incredible. Thank you again. Everyone else out here, this was another episode of Open Book. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, check out Legacy Bridges Foundation, both on social and on their website. And check out their book. My goodness, Melanie, I can't wait to read your book. That's absolutely awesome. Okay, well, this is another episode of Open Book. We'll have another one again really soon. So until then, take care.